Please make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You don't plan your own betrayal, but sometimes, your enemies make it easier by serving it with dessert. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my year. My 34th birthday. A private dinner with family and close friends, hosted at my favorite rooftop restaurant overlooking the city skyline. The kind of night where you wear your best dress, sip champagne, and feel loved. Except, something felt off from the moment we sat down. Devin, my husband, couldn't stop glancing at his phone. My sister Simone was overdressed, overdone, and oddly giddy. And my mother kept giving me this pitiful look every time I smiled. Still, I played my role. I cut the cake. I toasted to love. I hugged Devin from behind and whispered thank you in his ear. Then, just as the waiter returned with the birthday sorbet, Simone rose from her seat and clinked her spoon against a wine glass. I have an announcement, she said, placing one hand gently on her stomach. The restaurant fell into a hush. I remember smiling at her, assuming she was engaged or moving to Europe again. Until she looked at me and said, "I'm pregnant, and Devin is the father." The glass didn't fall from my hand, it shattered in my grip. But I didn't cry. Because Simone had no idea I already knew. And what she didn't expect, was that I had a secret of my own, one that would flip their little game upside down. If someone had told me a year ago that the man I loved would get my sister pregnant, I would have laughed in their face. Devin was loyal. Predictable. The type of man who double-knotted his sneakers and meal prepped every Sunday. A little boring, but safe. We had met at a networking brunch for local entrepreneurs. He ran a chain of fitness studios, I was a marketing consultant. We connected instantly, two people who preferred spreadsheets over spontaneity. My sister Simone, on the other hand, was everything I wasn't: wild, magnetic, and dangerously beautiful. She was the flame people got burned by, and never seemed to mind. The two of them never got along. Or so I thought. Looking back now, I realize the signs were all there. The hushed phone calls, the way Simone started showing up at my place, just to talk, how Devin always insisted on walking her to her car, every single time. But betrayal doesn't scream. It whispers. And I refused to listen. Until one night, 3 weeks before my birthday, I saw the message on Devin's laptop. He had forgotten to close his browser. A chat window sat open, blinking like a trap. "Simone, when are you going to tell her? This baby's not going to hide itself." I stared at it for a long time. Long enough to memorize it. Long enough to stop breathing. I didn't confront him. Not yet. I needed to know more. So, I started playing the role of the loving wife even harder. I planned my own birthday party, invited them both, and set the stage for my revenge. Because sometimes the best way to catch a liar is to let them lie in front of everyone. And that's exactly what Simone did. But she had no idea that I had my own announcement waiting. Something even Devin didn't know about. And by the time I revealed the truth, neither of them would be able to come back from it. The silence after Simone's announcement could have swallowed the entire restaurant. All eyes turned to me. A fork clattered. My aunt gasped. My mother whispered my name like a prayer. But I didn't blink. I didn't scream. I simply reached for my champagne, raised my glass, and said, "Well then, cheers." The waiter didn't know whether to serve the dessert or call security. Simone looked startled, like she expected me to cry or throw my drink at her. "Devin." Devin just sat there, frozen, his jaw tight, his hands clenched beneath the table. Coward. He hadn't expected her to say it. Not like that. Not tonight. But I had. What they didn't know, what no one at that table knew, was that 3 weeks ago, I hired a private investigator. His name was Malcolm Hayes. A discreet, expensive man who handed me a thick manila folder 2 days before my birthday dinner. Inside were photos, hotel receipts, phone records. One image, in particular, stood out. Devin. Simone. A downtown hotel. Kissing in the valet lane. I nearly vomited when I first saw it. But now, sitting across from them, I felt nothing. Just a hollow calm. You're not mad? Simone finally asked, one perfectly arched brow lifting. Oh, I'm furious, I said sweetly. But not surprised. Devin spoke then. Finally. His voice cracked. Babe, listen, it wasn't supposed to happen this way. I was going to tell you. You've had months. It was a mistake. Simone flinched. A mistake. You said you loved me. I held up a hand, silencing both of them. Enough. Then I stood. Since we're all making announcements tonight, I began, voice steady, I have one too. The tension in the room coiled like a live wire. You see, I continued, turning toward my family and friends, I knew about this affair weeks ago. And while you were sneaking around in hotels and whispering behind my back, I was talking to Devin's attorney. Devin's face turned pale. Attorney, he echoed. Yes. I reached into my clutch and pulled out a small envelope. The prenup you made me sign. It had a clause, remember? Infidelity voids it. Gasps. Simone's eyes went wide. Wait, what? I smiled, sharp and cold. I guess neither of you read the fine print. I let that settle for a beat before delivering the final blow. Oh, and one more thing. I walked around the table and dropped the envelope in front of Devin. Your father called me last week. He updated his will. He knew about you too. He left me his controlling shares in the company. Not you. Dead silence. You're lying, Devin muttered, rising to his feet. Am I? I tilted my head. Call the firm. Barnes and Whitaker. He signed the documents the day before his heart attack. Devin staggered back like I'd slapped him. Simone opened her mouth, but no words came out. And now, I said, reaching for my coat, I'd like to enjoy the rest of my birthday, without either of you. As I walked away from the table, heels echoing across the marble floor, I didn't look back. Not when my sister started sobbing. Not when my mother gasped into her napkin. Not when Devin whispered my name like a man drowning. They had made their choices. And I had made mine. The night air bit at my skin as I stepped out of the restaurant, but I welcomed the chill. It reminded me I was alive, still standing after the emotional ambush they'd planned. I sat in my car, stared at the wheel for a moment, then exhaled. One tear rolled down my cheek. Just one. Then I wiped it away. That was all they were going to get from me. A single tear. The next morning, I woke up to chaos. My phone had exploded overnight. Voicemails. Missed calls. Texts from unknown numbers. Screenshots sent by friends and even acquaintances I hadn't heard from in years. They were everywhere. Simone's announcement video had gone viral. Someone, probably her, fishing for sympathy, had leaked it online. But what none of them expected was the second clip, me exposing the affair and the will. That part. That had people talking. I turned my sister's betrayal into a corporate power play. Give me a crown and a new last name. They called me the Ice Queen in Pearls. Devin, on the other hand, had gone quiet. I knew exactly why. That afternoon, his father's law firm confirmed what I already knew. I now controlled 52% of Whitman Holdings, the luxury architecture firm Devin once bragged about inheriting. He hadn't told Simone that part, how deeply his father had lost faith in him, or how he'd secretly admired me for grounding his son's arrogance. I didn't gloat. I scheduled a board meeting. At 9 a.m. the following Tuesday. They didn't expect me to show up in that red power suit. The one Devin hated. Too aggressive, he used to say. But I wore it anyway. Hair up. No jewelry except my wedding ring, which I'd twist slowly during the entire meeting like a warning. Devin sat at the end of the boardroom table, pale and shaking. Simone was there too, foolishly thinking she belonged. I stood at the head of the table and placed a stack of documents in front of me. Silence. Then I spoke. As of this morning, I am assuming full executive authority over Whitman Holdings. No, Devin said. You can't. I can. And I did. Clause 7C of the trust documents, signed by your late father, gives me power of attorney, majority voting rights, and full operational control. He looked like he might be sick. Simone reached for his hand, and I almost laughed. You destroyed your marriage, I said quietly, and your reputation. You thought your last name would protect you. But legacy is earned, not inherited. A long silence. Then a slow clap from one of the board members. It was happening. I didn't just survive the betrayal, I'd risen above it. It's been 6 months. Simone moved out of the city. Rumor is she tried to start a mommy blog, but it flopped. No one wants parenting tips from a home wrecker. Devin? He tried to sue me. Didn't go well. Turns out, trying to sue the majority shareholder of your own company after cheating on her with your sister is a hard sell in court. I bought myself a brownstone. I sleep well in it. I walk my dog every morning past the restaurant where my birthday dinner fell apart. Sometimes I smile. Other times, I pause and whisper. Thank you. Because sometimes the worst betrayal reveals your deepest power. People think revenge is loud. They imagine broken dishes, screaming matches, scandalous exits with mascara-streaked cheeks and slammed doors. But the most powerful revenge I've ever tasted was silent. It came in the form of signed contracts. Silent boardroom nods. Elevator doors closing on shocked faces. It came in how no one questioned me anymore when I walked into a room, because my presence alone was enough. It came in how Simone's name became a cautionary whisper, and Devin's became an asterisk on company documents no one really read anymore. He lost everything, and I finally found myself. 4 years, I'd shrunk. Smiled politely. Endured the subtle jabs, the emotional dismissals, the performative love. I thought marriage meant sacrifice. I thought family meant forgiveness. Now I know better. Love isn't blind. It sees. It listens. It respects. And family. Family doesn't shatter your heart on your birthday and call it fate. I am no longer a wife. No longer a sister. I am a force. And if I had to be betrayed to uncover her, well, I'd raise a glass to that every single time.